Well, hello from the Heart Cry Missionary Society. My name is Paul Washer, and I'm here today to tell you some of the wonderful things that the Lord did for us the very last day of the year on December 31st. As you know, or most of you probably know, we do not make our needs known and we do not raise funds. We are not against those people who do, but the Lord has laid it upon our heart to trust in Him, that He would be our patron, and if He wants us to do something, He will provide for what He wants us to do. And if there is no provision, then it's simply not His will. Well, as you know, we support missionaries around the world. We have over 100 missionaries, and we're also involved in training them and providing for material needs they have, study libraries, all sorts of things. And because God has given us this burden to reach the world, we always need to advance. And sometimes that means stepping out on faith, not knowing for sure exactly what's going to happen. Well, this year, we have been trying to move ahead, especially in the 1040 window. We had all kinds of plans to support more men, to do more works, more training conferences, but as you know, that requires finances. Well, at the end of the year, the very last day, we were $150,000. Well, we had a $150,000 deficit. That doesn't mean that we were spending money that we didn't have, but it meant that we were spending all our surplus. And it really did not look that bright from a human perspective. Well, I came in the office on the 31st and began to study the Scriptures and to pray and ask God to help us. And around 10 o'clock, Kevin Height, who works here at Heart Cry, he came into the office and he was kind of teary-eyed. And I said, Kevin, what's wrong? And he said, $100,000 just came in. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, it just came in with, I went to get the mail and we have $100,000. And of course, you can only imagine how we rejoiced and we praised the Lord. Well, he went back to his office and I went back to studying. And about an hour and a half later, he comes in and he's really teary-eyed. And I said, Kevin, what's wrong? And he said, $66,000 just came in. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it just arrived. God sent us $66,000 more. And at this point, we didn't know what to do. We were just crying out to God, and we were so full of joy, calling everybody. And, well, it was just a wonderful time in the Lord. Well, I went back to studying. He went back to his office. And early in the afternoon, he came in, and he was beside himself. Now, at this point, I had realized I should stop asking what is wrong and start asking him what is right. And I said, Kevin, what happened? And he said, you're not going to believe me. I said, well, tell me anyways. And he said, $100,000 more has just come in. It was absolutely astounding when we were thinking about all that we wanted to do in the 1040 window, all the worthy missionaries that could be supported, and here it is, it's the last day, we have a $150,000 deficit. How could we ever accomplish what we thought the Lord had laid upon our heart? And so we were beside ourselves with joy, again calling everybody. And then Kevin happened to walk over to his computer, and he went to PayPal, and he saw that another $50,000 around that had come in. And now I want you to think about something. I wish I could say, bring everybody from Heart Cry in here and say that we are great men of prayer and that we never doubt and we're never depressed or we never think the whole thing is going to fall apart and that we're always confident in the Lord. But that's just not the case. We do these things because we feel impelled of the Lord, because of the great need, 4 billion people without the gospel. But sometimes when everything gets tight, we get afraid, we doubt ourselves, did we follow the Lord correctly? And here we are though, at the last day. Now I want you to think about this. The Lord could have delivered us the second to the last day or the third to the last day, but the Lord delivered us on the last day. Do you know what that means? He did that with such a purpose. Not just to test our faith, but to show us that He doesn't even need 365 days. He can do everything that has to be done in a moment's time. Well, what does that prove? It proves He can be trusted, and that He delights in vindicating even the smallest confidence of His children. We wanted you to hear this because we know that some of you were the ones who gave. And we praise God for you. You have no idea how much praise is abounding to God because of your gracious giving. But also we want you to see that you don't need to prop things up in your own power or by the arm of the flesh. You can just trust Him. He's a worthy and a great God. Look how He chose the last day to flex His muscle and to demonstrate that He's faithful. And He doesn't do it because of our great love for Him. He does it because of His eternal love for us, an eternal commitment to His people. We want everyone to know this story. We want them to know the story of our small, weak, feeble faith. And we want them to know the power and graciousness of our God, what He has done for us. If you're in the ministry, we also want you to know that we know it's hard and it's frightening sometimes when you step out on faith, but He can be trusted. But so often you can be trusting Him, and when the time gets tight, you go against some of your convictions. You begin to trust in the arm of the flesh, and you never see God come through as He will come through for you if you will simply trust Him. Just trust Him. The Lord has once again this year, or this past year, met all our needs according to His riches and glory. And that's a good thing. Why? Because there are still billions of people without the gospel. And we do not intend to just sort of sit back and be comfortable. I hope that next year, or this year, the last day, we have a deficit again. Because we've stepped out and we've believed God. You see, God really does care about the nations. And if we step out to do this, to carry out the Great Commission, He will be our helper. He will bless us. There is so much to do. In just a few weeks, I'm going to be going to Asia, to India and Indonesia. Why? Because there are worthy missionaries with sound theology, with integrity, that are to be supported, to be sent out. But there's so many more missionaries. And there's so many other places in the world. Do you think about China and Mongolia? So many places that need the gospel of Jesus Christ. Well, we've ended a year. And God has been faithful. We have believed Him, but not much. This year, we want to believe Him for more. We want to step out in a greater way than ever and trust Him to see the gospel of Jesus Christ preached, proclaimed to every person in our generation. It's our duty, it's the task, the stewardship that has been laid upon us. That the name of God would be great among the nations, from the rising to the setting of the sun. Not some hope out there that's unrealistic. No, in our generation, that the Lamb receive the full reward for His suffering. I hope this has been an encouragement to you. I hope you see that God can be trusted in your ministry, in your personal finances, in everything. God can be trusted. But I hope you also see that you were put here on this planet, that the whole world would hear the gospel. The whole world. The gospel of Jesus Christ. God bless you in this year. I pray that you grow in godliness. I pray that you grow in wisdom. I pray that in any way necessary, God would work that you might be conformed to the image of Jesus Christ and become a more useful servant. And I pray that you pray the same for us. God bless you and thank you.